I've been asked how I am finding water when I dig a well. It's pretty simple what I use. Many people disagree with it, say it doesn't work. I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm just telling you what I use and what works for me. And again, this is only for shallow wells. Something, let's say, no deeper than 30 feet. And my secret weapon is coat hangers, dowsing rods. And what I use to make these work correctly, so I don't have to wonder if my thumb or fingers are helping or that it's rotating correctly, drinking straws. Take a drinking straw, cut it in half, slide it over in, slide it over, and I don't let my thumbs touch. I don't grab tight and hold it. Don't let my fingers rub on this. You want it just to come up. And they're very easy to rotate within these straws. You want to keep them perpendicular to the ground or just pointed down just slightly, because you don't want to work against it. And I'll go out as I'm about to do another well out where I have some bees, and I need to make sure that they're having plenty of water, and it's further than I want to tote it every day. And I'll have a further demonstration once we get out there. I'd mark that spot. Right. Mark. Okay, what's happening here is real interesting. It happens every once in a while. I'm getting hits on a line, which means to me, which has been my experience, there is an underwater stream right here. Might make more sense if I come in this way. Again, it's kind of comfortable, perpendicular to the ground, just a little bit lower. I walk up, they start to cross. Now just kind of like put a foot mark or something there. Back up, walk down a few feet, start walking up again, and they cross again. And one thing I've noticed is they've all been crossing along a particular line right here, which means I could dig anywhere on this line and I'm going to hit water because there's a stream of sorts running underneath here. The other thing that will happen occasionally is instead of them crossing, let me get up a little closer. Instead of them crossing like this, you may go past something and both of them go like this or like this. In my experience, what that's telling me is I need to go that direction back towards where the water is, and once I start going that way, they will cross again. A lot of times this will point you in the direction that you need to go. Now sometimes I've done this where I can't find anything. I mean, I'm not getting any hit. This just so happens this has been about the easiest. I started, and as soon as I started getting hits on the water, and I bet if I start going across like this, probably about 3 or 4 more feet it's going to cross. There, direct line running right through here. So since I have been fortunate enough to find what I believe to be flowing water underneath here, I'm going to try to find a spot that's convenient for me to put the well. Many times you don't have an option. just strikes at particular points, and that's the way it has been for the wells that I did out the other part of the property. So what convenient for me would be somewhere in this area, because I can keep it out of the way and it's convenient. So let's see what it, in fact, we'll come back up on that line. Okay, so I'll mark, do a little scuff in the ground, come back to here. If I get another line, I'm just going to pick me a spot on this line. It is a straight line right through here. So I'll pick me a spot that's convenient on this line to put the well. Now that we got everything ready, start on our well. Okay, things to pay attention to as you're digging. As I started, it's very sandy here, of course, as you can see. But I got down to a little over 5 feet and the sand is changing color. That can mean I'm getting to a different kind of sand, I'm getting to clay, whatever. But when you're digging, pay attention to the changes in the color of what you're digging, because that can give you clues as to what you're about to get into, whether you're getting closer to water, whether you dig somewhere else around on your property, you may have an idea of what to expect. And the difference between the original auger with having to use a pipe wrench and everything to take stuff off, with this method right here, making these extensions out of square bar tubing, just remove spring clip, take the handle off, put extension in, reattach spring clip, put your handle back on, put your other spring clip in, and you're ready to keep rolling. We're down a little over 10 feet now and starting to get into the clay. And usually you get there, you get to the other side of it, and in that sand on the other side of the clay or rock, that's where you start getting water. So I anticipate any time this thing's starting to get a little bit wet. Remember, it's also important that you try to keep things straight up and down, perpendicular. If you start getting crooked, you're going to have problems putting your pipe in later on. Well, we're down about 13 feet, and we've started to hit water. We've got clay that's really, really wet with really rough sand mixed with it. Squeeze it out. Here's a tip, especially if you're working by yourself, because this can get pretty doggone heavy. Get to the point where you help control this thing. If you've made one of these with the detachable pieces, the square tubing, just take the handle off. It doesn't seem like that weighs a lot, but you don't have to balance it up in the air, and it makes it a whole lot easier. And you don't have to worry about hitting your bald head on the way down. There you go. When you get in the water, there's going to be a lot of suction, and it is not going to want to let you pull this up. So, to help get it started, what you need to do is you need to twist and pull at the same time to break that suction loose. And that's a little harder to do when you're trying to pull the handle off. So you'll just have to work out. It's all by feel. You'll feel it let go. Like I said, right now I'm pulling up on it and twisting, and it is not letting go. Okay, there we go. And those are part of the joys of working by yourself. Okay, we're finished. Not that you can see anything down in there. And there's our varying bits of soil. I wanted to go deeper. I'm about 18 feet, which is not very deep, but I got 4 feet of water in the hole. But here's the reason I went ahead and stopped, and this is from experience. This right here, this green clay, this is Auger clay, and you get in this and it goes on for a while, and it is tough and it is slimy, and it is a lot of work, and I'm not going to gain anything by killing myself going any further. I just need to be able to get a little water out of this thing to take care of my bees and water a plant or two around here with old cistern pump. So, oh, one more thing. This is why you pay attention when you dig. It's broken right off in here. That's an old spearhead that came up. Find lots of arrowheads and spearheads around here. This is one. It came up about, I don't know, I was about 4 or 5 feet down and got it. Well, next we're gonna put our pipe in the hole. Okay, here's our PVC casing pipe that's going to go in the ground. It's about 20 feet long. Because I got about a 4-foot water table in the hole, I just come up from the bottom a little bit and did 4 feet up, cut notches in it. That's so the water can run in the pipe. And we'll get this in. Then we'll get our pea gravel around it. Then we'll pack dirt back around it. And our casing pipe will be finished other than capping it off. And then we will put our pump pipe in. Okay, so we're just about ready now. What I like to do when I fill the hole back in. Of course, first put the pipe in, then I put the Pea Gravel in to be higher than the level of the notches I cut in the 4-inch PVC. Then I start replacing the soil that came out of the ground. And what I do is I start from, this is me, from what came out last and work my way up to what came out first. As you can see, I haven't got halfway through and I'm already full. And I also like to, this one here, sometimes I do it beforehand. I will clean around the bottom of the hole where I'm digging. This one here was a lot of nice grass and I just left it there. Now that I'm through digging the hole and I'm filling in, I go in and I've chopped all the grass around it. I'll pack this here down and then we're going to cap it with concrete. A bag or two of Sackcrete should be fine. And what that does, that causes the water not to be able to run down into your well. It will run around it. It's just another way to seal it off. We get that done, and hopefully tomorrow we will be able to get the get our other pipe in and go ahead and put the pump on it. Okay, let's see if we can't get the well finished. I wish I had dug it today because it's about 15 degrees cooler than it was yesterday. But that being said, we're ready to finish up. So what you need to know after it's kind of settled is how much water you have and where the bottom of the well is. And the easiest way to do that is get you a piece of string and tie a nut or something to the end of it and lower it down in your well casing. Once it gets close to the bottom, you'll feel it. Once the slack goes out of it, you've hit the bottom. There's mine. I'm at the bottom. So what I like to do is take it and tie myself a little knot right there so I know where the top of my case is. Let's bring it back up. About there, so I've got almost 4 feet of water in there. So what I need to do is measure this cord from the end of the top and be about 1 foot shorter because we don't want the bottom of our well pipe to be touching the bottom of our casing. That being said, I've already cut my pipe, and this is these shallow wells, this is one of the most important things that you can have to save you all kinds of trouble. This is a foot valve, and what it does is it allows water to come into your pipe and it will not come back out. So your pump will always stay primed. So then the next thing we need to do is lower this down in our well. And I'm using 1-inch pipe on this. Pieced together. This is a scrap well. Okay. What I don't want to do is lose this. Even though I can grab it. The other thing I've done is I went and got a 4-inch flange for a drain or a toilet. It's going to be easy to set this thing in there and then just cut a board to set on top. Feed it through. Nice, let that thing sit right in there. It's down nice and tight. I tell you, it does not get any easier than that right there. So as far as your well being, you're done with this part. You don't have to worry about stabilizing or anything. Then your pitcher pump. put your pitcher pump on, since you have a foot valve in it, one thing that would be easier to do is to go ahead and prime it. Go ahead and get water in that pipe so you're not fighting to bring it up. And I got some water. We're going to pour some water down in our pipe. I'm hoping that's enough water. I may not have got enough. But then, we'll take our pitcher pump, attach it to the top of our pipe, we'll see if we got enough in there to prime. And we don't. I'm about to get some more water to help this thing get primed. Okay, we had to get some more water because I didn't have enough to prime the thing. But I look at this as a good training example. Not to freak out if it doesn't work. There's not water. And you can prime right through your pitcher pump too. Just open it up and pour through. Just about there. Here it comes. There's our well. It's going to start. That's all that dirty water that's in there. Now here's another thing. You're going to have to pump and pump and pump until you get rid of all that, because that's all the stuff that's been disturbed at the bottom. It will take a while. Eventually it will clear. Now, what I do, so I don't have to worry about this thing moving, I'm just going to attach it to my block up here. It's good to go. And if you notice, when the video started, I put my concrete in the bottom. And the reason for that is twofold. One, you want to keep your well clean. You don't want groundwater running in it, bringing contaminants in. But two, think about it this way. You have opened a hole in the ground, exposing water down there. You want to be a good steward and not let stuff get nasty. So you're not only keeping your well water clean, but you're keeping water clean that other people may end up using. So now, we'll just let this thing sit, get it cleaned up, and my job is to pump this thing, get it cleaned out, and we got another well. Okay, we're gonna wrap all this up. We've got it installed, we got it on the ground, we're getting water. I still need to clear mine, but we're not gonna do that here. I just want to close this up with a few tips to help you in some problems that may come up with all this. It seemed to come up with all of them. One, make sure all of your connections, your PVC glued connections, your Teflon tape connections, all those are tight. If not, they will leak a little bit, you'll lose prime, and you'll have a problem with your pump. Two, if your pump, after doing it this way and having a foot valve on the bottom, if it continues to lose prime, probably what's happened is the the dirt or sand or whatever that's in the bottom of your well has gotten into the foot valve and is keeping it from closing all the way, which is allowing water to run back out. It's not a big deal. Pull this off, pull your pipe out, take that foot valve apart. There's one screw it takes out. You can clean it out, get the sand and junk out, put it back together, drop it back in. It should be fine. Finally, keep a bucket or a container of water near your pump until it is giving you continual water, where you're not having to wonder if it's going to prime. And it can be a while to get these things cleaned out until you have a confident well. So a bucket of water nearby makes for a quick prime of this thing where you can continue going. And eventually, hopefully, you'll have one that you don't have to worry about. I've got one of those around here. It stays primed all the time. So good luck with your digging. Hope this helps some. And I'm going to get out of here because it's starting to rain. Happy digging.